So the other thing we have to do is figure out how to re-engage with consumers, because the reality is no matter how you slice it, consumers are empowered to do things today that they've never been able to do in the past. They have a different relationship with advertisers, and then we should have different relationships with them. It's actually a privilege for us now to be able to have dialogue and converse with consumers in a different way. I think this video does a great job of illustrating kind of the change in the relationship. So this is a date that an advertiser is going on with a consumer and how it comes together. Can you play the video? Crank the volume.
Hey there. Long time no see. Looking good.
Yeah. Let's just keep this simple. I want a divorce.
Wagner?
I think you're gonna be just fine.
Come on. This is me. What's wrong?
We don't talk anymore.
I just put that in the middle on the TV commercial just to talk to you.
Exactly. You do all the talking.
On my website, can't you?
Sure. If I want to say order this product.
See?
It's not exactly a dialogue.
What about the Fred campaign? You can't tell me you missed the billboard in Times Square. It was like a 200-foot-tall declaration of love.
You're saying you love me, but you're not behaving like you love me. It's not genuine.
I don't know. The agency said I was genuinely being funny. Genuinely being charming. They said you would love everything I did.
Wait, Stan, you're not doing a radio commercial. Look, whether you're funny or not, it's just, I've changed, and you haven't. I mean, we don't even hang out in the same places anymore. You're not even listening, are you?
Coupons. You want coupons, don't you? Look, come by the store. I got 2 words for you. Loyalty, redemption. All right, that was it, wasn't it? Let's just hug.
If you knew me, you know I don't care about that.
No, sweetheart, I know everything about you. You're 28 to 34. Your online interests include music, movies, and lazy river. You have a modest but dependable disposable income. Am I the only one I get a problem? Oh, come on. Don't be like that. Look, I'll tell you what. I'm back here tomorrow. I'll give you a chance to win a Bahamas vacation. There's a small chance, minuscule, but technically still a chance. Might be like the old days.
So clearly the relationship there has changed, and we need to think about it different. So historically, we've essentially bought our way in, right? We've spent 95 to 99 to 100% of our money buying impressions to reach our consumers. That model has to be turned on its head a little bit. So we think about the fact that we have this paid, owned, earned model now. POEM is the acronym that has been coined to make it easy to remember. But the paid is obviously the advertising. The owned is your own assets, whether it's your websites, whether it's content that you create. You know, all of those things are now your own assets that make you a bit of a publisher as a marketer. And then the earned media, social media is having a dominant effect on the world at large and on word of mouth. I mean, we've always known that word of mouth is the most powerful form of marketing, but now that's exponentially increased because of the internet and because of social media. So earned impressions become a huge opportunity and a huge key, and that's the model we need to be working off now, really thinking about our own assets, how we drive word of mouth, as well as paid advertising. We need to think about ways that we can involve our consumers in a different way. You know, historically, Hollywood and Bollywood have created and distributed the vast majority of content in the world. Now consumers can do that, and they can do that at scale. They can express themselves creatively, and they want to do that, and they will do that. And so that gives us an opportunity to engage consumers like we never have before. So last year, we actually held an event with MoFilm in which we asked 13 of our global brands to get content from all over the world, sourced from filmmakers, amateurs, consumers, and whatnot. We launched it at the Tribeca Film Festival in New York. We culminated at the London Film Festival, and we got some really amazing content for a lot of our global brands. The winner was Vaseline from a person in China who created a fantastic piece of content that they're actually using now. The brand team is actually using now as part of their campaign. So really involving consumers. Ben & Jerry's does a great job of that on Facebook, which I'll talk about. You know, a few years ago, we actually held the first consumer-generated content where we ran the winning ad on the Academy Awards, which really takes it to another level because all of a sudden that ad becomes content because everybody's been involved in creating the content, and if they haven't created it themselves, they've certainly been watching it and seeing the PR and then all of a sudden it's playing on the Academy Awards. So rather than ignoring the ads, people are actually waiting to see, I wonder what ad won, created by a consumer in maybe the most glamorous show in the world. We need to rethink about the channels that exist and how we use them. So I think the idea of being able to reach everybody with one shot in one medium with a 95+ reach like you could on television is over. Now, I will make the caveat that in India today, it's not quite over because I think the power of television in India is still huge. It's enormous. You don't have the same DVR issues, at least not quite the same DVR issues that the Western world has, and the internet penetration is still not where the Western world is. However, as I showed you earlier with the egg slides, it's just a matter of time before that happens, and things are happening much more rapidly here in India than they typically happen over time because there's a leapfrog effect that's going on. So the thought of it is still the same, that if not today, certainly in a very short time, you're going to have to do an integrated campaign that uses different channels because people are spending time on their mobile devices, they are watching TV, they're online, they're in different places, and we can't just reach them in one shot. But the center of that campaign doesn't necessarily have to rely on just a television spot anymore. There's key channels now that we all need to be focused on where it can be centered in different areas. So it can be video. I think here's a great example of a campaign we did for Dove Men. So Dove launched a product just for men. The first market to run it, we ran it in was in the US. And we ran a television spot in the Super Bowl, which is the biggest event in the US, 100 million viewers. And it becomes content because the next day everybody wants to see what were the best Super Bowl ads. So we ran the spot, but then what we did to amplify it is actually we took some content from the shoots and whatnot with Drew Brees, who we partnered with, who is actually the quarterback of the winning team in the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl, if you don't know, is the major American football event that happens to figure out the best team in football. He was the most valuable player. That means the best player in the game. We created a bunch of digital content that we ran on the home pages of Yahoo, Microsoft, and all the big portals and a lot of the different places where men would spend time online the next day. And it received a ton of PR because we knew that as part of the winner, he would be getting a lot of coverage the next day. So he's on Oprah Winfrey, who I imagine you all know Oprah Winfrey, but in the US, she's one of the biggest daytime talk show hosts. I think she is a pretty global phenomenon as well. And he spent about 10 minutes talking about Dove Men and the creation of this digital content on her show, which is earned media that you can't buy. It was amazing. So can we play this? This is his segment on Oprah Winfrey the next day talking about Dove Men.
So you saw my Super Bowl commercial, Drew did one too, and he wouldn't have seen it. He wouldn't have seen it because you were playing. But anyway, Drew did one too where he stayed in the shower for Dove for Men. And here are a few extra scenes you didn't get to see. Drew and...
Being comfortable in your own skin. Right. And I think everybody in here would admit that they have sat in the shower at some point.
Hasn't everybody?
We all sat in the shower.
Yes.
But you're just not used to doing it for millions of people. You go, oh, I want to do it. So for me, this was definitely like get outside of the box, kind of outside of my comfort zone a little bit. And, you're a little tight and tense early on, but then you say, you know what? Let's just have it.
Do they tell you what to sing?
Well, the tune, that was part of it, but then it was just kind of like, hey, make this thing your own, and be as wild and crazy as you want. And I said, we're going to have fun with this, because I am comfortable in my own skin. I'm not used to taking my shirt off just for millions of people, but that was fun.
I bet you were singing in the shower after that Super Bowl.
Absolutely.
So I think, certainly, as I talked about, you can center it in different areas. Mobile may be the most important channel, if you can call it that, over the next few years. They say that, I think statistics say that 25% of the world is currently online. The vast majority of the next 75% will get online via mobile, and most of that will be in emerging markets such as India. So it becomes a critical area for us. And as such, we've done a number of interesting things. In Brazil, we actually launched, we partnered with Nokia and launched a phone outright for our SATA brand, SATA is called Sunsilk here in India, which is a huge brand in India. So all the content, the ringtones, everything was all SATA based. So a very interesting approach. I talked about the Axe approach. This was, if you think about the fact that Apple essentially invented the smartphone of today with the iPhone, which is one of the greatest innovations of all time. We were one of the charter sponsors. We were the charter sponsor with Apple to create their new iAd platform, which launched last year. So essentially running ads within apps. So rather than just running ads on browser-based websites, when you click onto an app, we have opportunities to see full-scale ads that include video and content and sending you to other apps and all the stuff. So we did that with several of our brands in several countries in the U.S. and across Europe, and we're going into Japan. You can see here we did some examples. We did it with Dove for Men, again, as part of the Dove for Men launch. We did it with Axe. We've done it with Knorr. We've done it for some of our food brands. We've done it for Magnum. So really a slew of different iAds, but an incredible, innovative approach. And we felt like partnering with Apple becomes critical because, again, they essentially created the smartphone. We got to work with their creatives, their designer, their technologists, all to help us because that really prepares us now, I think, in the future for really becoming better and better about understanding mobile, especially in the smartphone area. Gaming becomes another huge opportunity. There's very few things that are as engaging as gaming, and this is not just for teenagers. Women make up a huge percentage of gamers around the world. And I think you'll see a lot of different areas where marketers hadn't historically spent a lot of time with that are now looking for marketers as revenue sources. I mean, certainly the music industry, as I showed earlier, has just been turned upside down by the technology revolution. So you can bet that artists and musicians and labels are looking for marketers to help subsidize the things they're doing. Certainly mobile companies are as well, and gaming companies will be as well. This is a fantastic a game we created. It just launched last week for Magnum, and it's really innovative. It's within 24 hours it had over 1 million views. At one point we had 400 users per second. So if you get a chance, go to mypleasurehunt.magnum.com. But I'll show you the video. I actually videotaped this off my computer a couple of nights ago while playing it. It's really great. It shows this girl running through capturing Magnum bonbons, but she ends up in all these different sites that represent pleasure, whether it's YouTube, whether it's hotels, whether it's travel sites. Really interesting, very engaging, and it's exploding online. Can you play it?